Hi, this is Rob with thehealingfrequency.net, where we help you to move past and through your emotional and physiological blockages with the very quickest ways possible. Now, I'm coming to you this morning because Sheila Cash and I are coming up with a new course that will be held all over the area. Now, this is all about frequency and vibration. What are frequencies and vibrations? Everything in the universe and the world actually has a frequency and a vibration. Did you know that the desk next to me actually has a frequency and vibration? The tree outside my window has a frequency and a vibration. Your body, your moods, your emotions, every organ in your body has a frequency and a vibration. And one of the things that we found is when the frequency and the vibration turns into a rhythm, it can be very hard to actually let go of. Now, speaking about frequency and vibrations, I'm sure that you've actually heard about 528 hertz, which is better known as 528 ohm, which is actually known as agape, unconditional love, and known for restoring the body and the soul. How's about 741 hertz, which helps you to detox? It helps to take all the toxins out of your body. 852 hertz awakens your intuition and helps to return you back to balance. 440 hertz is actually known for changing your DNA. So this has been around for decades. We've known this, and now it's coming in for us to actually work with it. Back in the old days, you'd go into the doctor, they would use a tuning fork and actually strike your knee just to see how it would react. And one of the things that we found within sound therapy is you will either get a note that's sustained or it will go flat. And this will give us an idea of what's going on inside of your body. I went to a sound healing bath a while back out in Reston, Virginia, and it was beautiful. She had all the crystal bowls out and everything. We got done, and she sat down with this really nice crystal goblet, I guess was what you'd call it. It looked like a wine glass, a really large one, without a bottom on it. And she was going around my body with it, and I've got a bad left shoulder. It's been bad for years. And when she got right over there to that area, the sound completely stopped, and she started laughing. She's like, "Rob, what is going on with your shoulder?" And I had to explain what was going on with my shoulder. But you see, this is what goes on within sound therapy. We can listen to the frequency, the tone, the reverberation, and the rhythm to find out where we have spots that are not working well for us. But this can also be seen within NASA. NASA came up with this machine called the Syra that a good friend of mine, Dr. S. here in Gainesville, actually uses. And what this does is it actually puts through all these frequencies and these vibrations throughout your body, and everything has been mapped out to a frequency and a vibration within our body, whether it be a muscle, whether it be an organ, whether it be our thoughts, whether it be our mind. Everything is creating a vibration and a frequency, and NASA mapped all this out. And they did this so that they could study our astronauts while they were up in space and find out what was going on. And they found something very interesting, is when they mapped out what was going on and they found out how the astronauts were out of particular alignment in a certain area, if they introduced that proper frequency and vibration, the body would naturally move back to that positive state. We're going to be talking about this in this class, about taking you from a lower frequency vibration to a higher one to really manifest the things that you want in life and to have better emotional intelligence. You see, we are all the sum accumulation of everything that's happened to us in life and how we've deemed to respond to it. But the trick is to understand that so much of the time this has been created by a child. It's been created by us with a limited knowledge and a limited amount of tools to actually deal within different situations. And these become limiting beliefs. They become things that we're stuck to. We become rigid. And the reason why we're rigid is we are protecting our heart. We are protecting everything that's within us so that we can move forward. But so much of the time, there are better ways. As Tony Robbins would say, you're only 2 to 5 degrees off from where you're actually meant to be. It's not about recreating these limiting beliefs. It's about moving them and giving new tools. And as I said earlier, when a frequency and a vibration turns into a rhythm, it's very hard to actually move it. And see, these go into the Hermetic laws and the natural laws. The law of correspondence, the law of rhythm. You know, the law of correspondence stating that everything as above, so below, everything on the outside is a mirror image of what's on the inside. And so many of my students with the law of attraction, when they realize, oh, they are a co-creator of their own demise, they leave the law of attraction, they stick their head back in the sand like a good ostrich, and just get pummeled in the butt. They don't want to have that much responsibility in their life. And the truth is, they don't want to go into their heart to understand what is actually in their heart, to know what's in their mind. So we talk about this within Heart Math, with the Heart Math Institute and Heart Coherency. You see, the heart has actually been shown lately to communicate 70 times more frequently and more often with the brain and the mind than the brain and the mind communicate with the heart. So we must go into our heart center to understand what's truly going on, to create the coherence between the two. Now the other thing is, the universe thinks off of a vibrational plane, a frequency. So this is one of the natural laws, the natural law of vibration, the natural law of rhythm. You know, it's going out there, but it's coming from our heart. So if we have any limiting beliefs or anything that's in our heart, or we bring something up in our heart that we don't have the tools to deal with, it's automatically being created when our mind comes in alignment with our heart. See, it just automatically goes out. Once it goes out, we've got 5 seconds. But so many people don't realize this law of frequency and vibration that's going out. It's kind of like a depth finder. You know, when you're looking for fish at the bottom of the ocean, it goes out, but it takes a while to come back and give you the information. Same with the Syra. And this is what we see so much in our lives, is we sent this vibration out and then it comes back. We can also look into Bach flower remedies with Dr. Bach. Dr. Bach over in England started studying people's emotions and their responses, and he was actually crazy enough to do it in a bar because he thought that was where people really showed their feelings and emotions. And he looked at the frequency and the vibrations of different flowers. And he created these flower essences and started to introduce people to the flower essence to change that frequency and that vibration that people are holding within themselves. We can also look into essential oils, because every oil has a frequency and a vibration. And it is going into the body. We have the natural receptors for it, and it starts to change because that frequency and that vibration, just like NASA found out with the Syra machine, when they bring in the proper frequency and the vibration, the body wants to turn it around. That's one of the strong things about essential oils, as well as the fact that they really help with different viruses and immune system and all that other stuff. But it's all frequency and vibration, folks. It's all in what we are putting out there, you know. So we can also talk about the womb. So we are the sum accumulation of everything that we've learned in life in order to keep ourselves safe. And this is where the limiting beliefs take place. This is what is going on within us, where we start to say, ooh, no, this will never happen again. Wherever we find a boundary that is rigid and hard, understand you are protecting yourself. You're protecting your heart. But sometimes, even when we're in the womb, when things are going on with our mother, there's still a frequency and a vibration coming in, but our little brains have not developed yet, and we don't know how to handle this frequency and this vibration. But we're also getting that stimuli of angst and anxiety, or even happiness. And with my clients, it's really interesting. I can talk to the women and say, hey, was this going on when you were actually in the womb? And they're like, I don't know, let me go home and talk to my mom. And they come back and they tell me exactly what's going on. It's not equal to men. We go home and ask mom, and she's like, why do you need to know that? I'm not going to talk about this. This has to do with your dad. You go talk to your dad. And I see this over and over and over again. But you see, These frequencies and these vibrations that we learn when we're in the womb can actually affect us throughout life. And we don't know the origin of it because our little brains hadn't developed yet. And we continue to do the same thing over and over again, just recreating the insanity, thinking that we're going to do something the same way and create different results. So we must look at all this pictures of all the frequency and the vibrations that we are putting out. If you're sad, that's a really low vibration, but we can actually raise it to a happy vibration. And we can do this through heart coherence, of really going into the heart and understanding what's in the heart. And this also brings up, inner child work. It brings up rebirthing techniques. It's all about mapping out these frequencies and these vibrations that are within you to give you the mental acuity to create the neuroplasticity and to create those neural pathways that I'd like to say, to actually understand, okay, where's my frequency and my vibration? How can I change it? We can talk about the core wounds, unlovable versus lovable, unworthy versus worthy. What are the frequencies and the vibrations? Have you ever gone in to say, what is that feeling of just being unlovable? And feeling that, you can even feel your energy go down. But when I come back and say, you're lovable, you're gracious, you're kind, you're compassionate, and all this, you will feel that uplifting. Sheila Cash and I will be introducing things like this in this class, and we're looking forward to working with you on this. We can also talk about theta healing, which is another one of the things that I do. But Fiona Stibles actually went back and said that she realized that the onset of, she was talking about cancer or other diseases, usually starts about 5 years prior to when it's detected. Because we went through something that we didn't have the ability to handle or deal with. We used our own emotional intelligence to swallow it and put it down, putting it right down into our heart and into our chakras. And gosh, that hurts every time I do that. So we want to bring that back up. We found within energy psychology, if you just do this, you're actually raising your frequency and your vibration. But these things happen to us. We don't know how to handle it. We don't know what to do with it. And we swallow it and we put it down. This affects our frequency and our vibration and creates illness. So a lot of times we can go back 5 years, and if we can actually raise that frequency and that vibration and your understanding for what happened, it's not that we're changing anything. Your vibration and your frequency is changing. And as we've talked about a little while ago, when we reintroduce that loving compassion, agape, back into your system, your body automatically wants to convert back to where it is. Now, we've got all sorts of different things that we can talk about within doing that. We could also talk about energy psychology, or you might be aware of tapping. What is tapping doing? It's working on the meridian lines. It's actually, we use EMDR within energy psychology with the eyes, because what we found is that when we're remembering something, our eyes lock in on a certain place. When they lock in on a certain place, it creates that physiological change. So if we actually keep the eyes moving and tap on the different meridian lines and bring in the mental aspect with different tools and techniques, we can actually diffuse this situation so that you don't go back into the physiological effect, which is creating that frequency and that vibration that lowers you. And I'm not going to use my hands again, because each time I do that, it lowers my energy. So I'm just going to bring it back up. Bring it back up. We have found within muscle testing the same thing. There was actually a wrestling coach years ago that got into trouble. His team went completely undefeated, and what he was doing something from monkey kung fu, which is, kind of funny. Now I'm talking about monkey kung fu, but he instructed his men to, before they actually went in for a strike, they would actually cut the energy of the person 3 times. And what happens is we've got an energetic field that's roughly 2.5 feet away from us at all times. And he's going into that auric field, or that energetic field, and cutting the energy, and it lowers us. You see, monkeys would actually use crippling techniques to cripple your legs to bring you down to the ground. But what they found out by actually doing this is it lowered the energy of the competition, and it was easier to get a takedown. The man went through a whole year, a whole season, pretty much being undefeated, and somebody in the stand saw exactly what he was doing and reported it to the officials. They ended up getting their wins taken away from them for using something outside of wrestling. But understand, we are all energy, we're all an energetic field, and what are you choosing to embrace today? Now, within this course with Sheila Cash, we are not only going to be talking about stuff like this, but we are going to give you the tools and the techniques to wow you so that you can actually be in control of the frequency and the vibration, to change your own emotional intelligence, to go into what's hurting in your heart, and come out with effortless ease. We really look forward to seeing you. We've got some 1-hour classes coming up, followed up by classes being held all over the place that will be one-day classes to really help you change that frequency and that vibration within you so that you can achieve the happiness and the goals that you want in life with as little effort as possible. How nice would it be to be happy? Now, the other thing that we found within heart math is that when you get unhappy, when something happens to you and you don't know how to deal with it and you suppress it and you take it down, bring my energy back up, when you take it down, what happens is you will get an onset of a quick adrenaline rush. You will get this adrenaline rush that will help you get through it. But then your energy, your frequency, and your vibration will wane for up to 6 hours, people. And this is where illness can actually be created. This is where your immune system drops. Up to 6 hours for one simple thing that you weren't able to handle at that point in time. You see, we've got the ability to change that. As soon as we find the heart coherence and find what's happened to us, all we have to do is introduce that higher frequency again and allow it. Remember how I was talking about frequency and vibration when they turn into rhythm, how hard it can actually be to recreate it, to get out of it? Well, this is where it really takes effect to be able to do it right away. You don't want those lower feelings, those lower vibrations hanging with you all day. And how many times do we have multiple people coming up to us and just ruining our parade? We want to be able to make those changes. We are going to show you techniques and tools so that you can actually make those changes. It might take you a minute or so the first couple of times you do it, maybe even 15. But the more you do it, the time will shrink so that you can actually change yourself back to who you were meant to be almost immediately. It's a tool and a technique, and that's what we're going to be teaching over these times, these classes, whether it be online or in person. We look forward to seeing you, and this is Rob with the Healing Frequency. Looking forward to having a great time with you, raising everybody's feelings and emotions, vibrations, frequencies, and just really coming into our own light. Bye-bye for now.